I'm Janine Nodder, and you're watching Chattin' with Janine. The subject this week is real estate. Gosh, renting versus buying, what's available, how do you sell your house, how do you get top dollar, all these questions hopefully will be answered. I have two realtors with me today. Right next to me is Stephen Sawyer of S&S Appraisals. Welcome, Stephen. And my colleague from the State House, Vanessa Sheehan, a licensed realtor with Homefront Realty in Bedford, New Hampshire. So welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So the real estate market today, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's a great market for sellers. Buyers are having a little bit of a difficulty because there's not much inventory right now. New Hampshire is ranked number 9 out of all the states in the country for the hottest real estate market.
Number 9. So where do we start? We start with appraisals?
Sure.
That would be you.
So the process, as most folks know, once an offer is submitted on a property and it's accepted, meeting of the minds we call it, then they would order title, order appraisal, and that's where I come into play. And I go out and do the assignment, gathering up all the data to ensure that the buyer is being, his offer is supported, the banks. There's no risk of finance, because you're seeing a lot of the homes are being overbidded on.
Right, and that's really important to note, because sellers will go in, a realtor will go in, their agent will go and talk to them. We'll do a comparative market analysis, see what other properties are selling for currently and with the last 6 months, and then we'll come up with a number to list at. And often sellers will say, but I know that the house down the street just sold for $40,000 over that. Why can't I list that high? And we discourage that because most likely your property is going to go through an appraisal. And if it doesn't appraise for that high number, then it's up to the buyer to offer an appraisal gap or, relook at the offer, and stuff like that. So it's really important that you price your home what it'll often appraise at.
What I'm seeing out there is I'll go to a property and we'll see. We'll use easy numbers, say 100,000, and then the purchase, it was listed for 100. Purchase price was 150. So you got a 50,000 gap there.
Yeah.
And as an appraiser, when I go out, I would research data from the list price, and then I'd go over, the high end and see what kind of data falls in of similar homes, similar square footage, bedrooms, location. And we derive value from putting all that data together. Sometimes it supports it, sometimes it doesn't. And I guess that's when negotiating between a seller and a buyer takes a hold.
Do you find that there's a bidding war on every house you sell these days?
Recently there has been, but sometimes just the first offer will be the highest and best offer, and
that's usually the best.
I've
always heard the first offer is usually going to be your closest.
Right.
Really?
Unless you get somebody from out of state that has sold and has a lot of money, because we saw a lot of that.
And when sellers are looking over the offers that come in, it's not always best to look at what the offer price is. You got to look at everything. What kind of financing they have? Is it a cash offer? Are they waiving inspections?
Do they have another house
contingencies? Right. So, and that's where an agent, a trusted realtor, comes in and can help guide the seller through those decisions.
Yes, what I've seen on my side is a lot of the agents, like you were saying, they advocate for their client, whether it's a buyer or seller, and they give them advice going forward on an offer. Like you were saying, you don't want to go too much over, and you provide the data, the comps to show them. But if they feel comfortable making an over list price offer, then there's always that chance where there's going to be an issue when it comes down to the seller saying, I want the, you're looking at 4 offers.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were saying, the strongest one, less contingencies, which is kind of make it a little nerve-wracking when you got a buyer that says, oh, I'm going to waive everything. The
Right, no
septic, the
inspections.
well.
Yes, I hear
Yeah,
a lot
and-
of people are buying houses as is.
Yes.
Yes, I have a listing down in northern Mass, and we had the inspection a couple weeks ago, and he told me he's not going out doing inspections a lot right now because people are waiving the inspection. I would never tell my buyer to waive an inspection because I want to do what's comfortable for them, but I will tell them, that may not make your offer look as attractive as someone waiving those inspections. But a lot of times buyers will just write in their contract, their offer, that inspections are just for personal knowledge.
Right, or up to a certain
Right.
number.
Right. So
Any deficiencies up to 3 or 5,
Yeah.
we're okay with all that.
Would you say it's a seller's market right now?
oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I could sell my house, but where would I go?
Correct,
That's
yes.
it. You
No
need to
inventory.
make sure that you have someplace you can go. But I don't want to totally discourage buyers. It may take a couple of offers, it may take 6 months, but eventually they will get into a home. Just to be persistent and not give up.
So renting versus buying. I mean, maybe it's better for some people to rent rather than buy a house, since the way houses are selling like that, like hotcakes. And then they find they have all these repairs that can get costly and unaffordable, and then so maybe you are better off. Some people are better off renting.
If they go in, some of those buyers that go in, will take it as is, as seen, no contingencies. And then down the road they go, they're already in there with, they're all in. And then 6 months down the road, something happens, got an
Yeah.
issue with the septic, or there's a water issue.
Right, termites.
And then they look to see, how come we weren't told
Yeah.
about this, about that? It wasn't on the disclosure, or
Now, do you help people find places to rent?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we
I
do
did not
rentals as
know
well.
that you could go to a realtor. Not a realtor, but realtor. Let's distinguish. The word is Realtor.
Correct.
Yeah, no, there's no extra A in there, but
Right.
I
No
think
realtor.
people naturally want to say realtor.
Realtor,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's realtor. Okay.
But renting has its benefits. It's cheaper, but you don't build the equity. It's more convenient if you want to get up and move, get a different job. Additional expenses are lower, and if something major breaks, you just call your landlord. But the benefits of buying is you build your equity. You get tax benefits.
Do you have a backyard?
You have a backyard. But it's difficult and costly to pick up and move. You're responsible for your own repairs. You have higher expenses like taxes, insurance, HOA fees. So, you have to look at everything and what kind of lifestyle you have, and
yeah, it's difficult. What I've seen, I have a family member looking, is that the market's been kind of priced out of some of the first-time buyers. And
yeah,
it's difficult for them, and then the alternative is to rent. So a lot of the rents I've seen is, because I do a lot of single-family rent schedules, is that the rents are a mortgage payment.
Yes,
So
or actually more. Like my son's apartment, I can't believe how he's paying like twice what my mortgage is. But he says, yeah, but when he had a house, he said, there was repairs, there's always
Yes.
stuff, upkeep, taking care of the yard, and then he also had several pets, which he doesn't have anymore. So it kind of comes out even. And he actually prefers just renting for now.
Right.
But what happens when it gets unaffordable, and the square footage just seems to be getting smaller and smaller and smaller on what's available. It's like, I don't know. So let's talk about first-time home buyers. What should they look for? I know you have notes on that.
Right. First of all, a first-time buyer should meet with a lender and get a pre-approval. A lot of times people want to just start looking at houses, but it's really important to get your lending squared away, a pre-approval all set, start building good credit. and then talk to an agent. Sometimes they get the cart before the horse and
Yes.
want to just start looking. I don't know if you want to talk about down payments. That's something that a lot of first-time home buyers will struggle with. There's a down payment. First-time buyers usually put about 8% down. There are some programs that allow for 3% down payments. Government-backed loans, some of them have 0 down. But the larger the down payment, the lower the interest rate in your monthly mortgage payment. But then you don't have a lot of funds for other home buying expenses. The larger the down payment, the smaller the down payment, makes home ownership happen faster. But then you have extra costs like PMI, which is the private.
What is PMI?
That's private mortgage insurance. So if you put anything less than 20% down, then you have to get that PMI. And then once you have enough equity in your home, then you can get rid of the PMI insurance.
I know with our mortgages, we have our insurance rolled into the
Yeah,
payment. So.
yeah.
So
This is
what's-
an extra.
Okay, and I guess
Insurance.
once the house is paid off, we still have to pay an exorbitant fee to live in this town
Yeah,
because property
taxes.
taxes are outrageous. But I know some want to give us an income tax. They said it will bring down the property tax, but what happens is what
I
happens in other states is,
that'll-
maybe the first year, but then it goes up and up and up, and then you have 2 huge taxes, and then you end up like New Jersey with no savings at all. But now, in addition to high property taxes, you also have an income tax. So don't fall for that. Okay, I said I wouldn't get political on my shows, but lately. But I think that was important.
Yes.
How to get top dollar? How do you get top dollar when you're selling your house?
Well, if it was me,
Or
I
is
would.
it just a given?
If it was me,
considering
I would hire a home inspector to come to my house and inspect the house. That way it gives me, as the home seller, an idea of what the buyers are going to be looking at, and maybe I can address some of those issues ahead of time. Once that's done, I would try to declutter the house, right? And
That's hard to do.
and make sure the yard is looking, so when someone comes in there, they can
Curb appeal.
they can visualize them being there and their stuff there, as opposed to the house being full of personal belongings and stuff like that. Top dollar, I think it's location, right?
Yeah, a lot of people think, well, I'm going to sell my home myself and save that commission payment, I understand that, but in order to get top dollar for your home, you really need to expose it to the MLS, which is the multiple listing service, which goes out all over the state, and that's really you really need that. But like you said, you find a trusted agent, set a timeline, spend a couple of months decluttering, deep cleaning, cleaning the yard. We can go into that if you want to talk about staging in a little bit.
That's like HGTV Live.
Yes.
Yeah, so, start doing that within the first 2 months if you think you're going to get ready to put your house on the market. Agents are also very helpful, referring sellers to, junk removal services. We have a lot of different referrals and networking that we do, so we can point people in the right direction. I know that when I've had some clients that have been in their homes for years and years, and they've accumulated stuff. And it's overwhelming. It's
Yeah.
overwhelming.
I'm overwhelmed
And
with my house.
and just having someone there that can bring some
Third
help.
party.
Yeah, help in that's
And
not
as you said,
attached to the stuff. There's
Right.
not,
yes,
there's
you mentioned stager.
emotional attachment that can really help. But I think that's one of the most overwhelming things for people. They see like their stuff, and my goodness, how do you get rid of all of this stuff and prepare?
Yeah, what do you do? It is hard. My daughter has downsized. I'm so proud of her, but she's always kept her house very, very neat and tidy. I wish everyone would, but she has what she needs, and her house is very clean.
Simplify.
It looks staged.
Yeah.
Mine looks lived in.
That's what I say when I go in and someone apologizes. I go, no need to apologize. You live here.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
here
it's
to.
not-
You're not selling me the house.
My house isn't dirty. It's just I have
Right,
a lot of
right,
stuff.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
like shoes. The shoe corner. Oh, good Lord! It looks like that movie Cheaper by the Dozen with all the shoes.
Right.
That's
right.
every day.
Right. Yeah. So if we want to segue into staging, again, deep clean. Hire a cleaner. Don't overwhelm yourself. Hire a cleaner that can come in and deep
What do they
clean.
do? What kind of? I mean, besides just cleaning carpets. Of course, we call Kevin Avard if we need our carpets.
Yes.
cleaned.
Kevin. Yeah.
Aardvark, yeah.
Carpets. Wiping down walls. Maybe putting a fresh coat of interior paint on some of the walls. Declutter. Keep your decor colors kind of a neutral color, and depersonalize. We all have the family pictures everywhere that we love, but when someone's coming in, they don't want to see other people's families. They want to envision what the home's going to be like for their families. When you talk about shoes, the clean closets, get rid of anything you can, because less is better. Because people love large closets.
Right. I just ordered under the bed storage today.
Yeah,
It's on wheels. I'm like, that's what I could do with all the shoes in my closet. And
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I won't know I have them.
Yeah.
I'll go buy new shoes. Sorry.
Yeah, and lighting is really important. Good light makes your house look bigger.
Clean windows.
Yeah, get rid of like the the rugs, the throw rugs. They don't often photograph well, and it does make a room look smaller. Don't forget about the outside. If you have a deck, get it pressure washed. Put some plants out there.
These are all helpful tips.
So yeah, and that'll help. That'll be inviting for the buyer coming in. It'll photograph well. I know when I have sellers, that part of my package that I offer is professional photos. I know some agents just use their cell phone and take photos, and I like to do professional photos for my clients and just add that extra touch, that'll
It's called
attract
added
buyers.
service.
Yeah.
Right. Most folks don't do that. They don't want to spend the money.
What's the average home price in your area? Where is
Concord.
Concord?
We're right now like $475.
And what is it in your area? And
Well,
where is your area?
I started putting these notes together about a week ago. And a week ago, the average median sale price for New Hampshire was around $500,000. Now, last night I received an email from New Hampshire Realtors, and now it's at $515,000. That's the median sale price. It's record setting for New Hampshire.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, I'm seeing that, especially the closer you get to the southern border, the ocean, and around the lakes region.
Yeah, the top metros in New Hampshire are Concord, Manchester, Nashua, Dover, Portsmouth, and Laconia.
Where's, or do you know, the most affordable area in New Hampshire right now?
More in the rural areas that I've seen. I was just in Ipswich and Marlborough and Dublin. Those homes, if you were closer to the larger communities, you could add anywhere from 10 to 20% to those, to reflect, the closer you get to a larger metropolitan area, everybody wants to be close to downtown.
Yeah. Right, and they were saying, go up north in the sticks and stuff, but now a trend is that people are buying those homes up north because they want to get out of the city. A lot of them are trying to turn them into Airbnbs, vacation rentals, and
what does that do to the housing market? How does that change the what our houses are worth in the southern part of the state?
Oh, it drives them up. Yeah.
plus these investors coming in. I've
Oh yeah.
done some appraisals on Airbnbs, short-term rentals. Some communities now are frowning on those because
Making it more difficult.
it's
Yes.
eliminating
I've been getting emails about that.
it's eliminating the buyers as opposed to investors, and then they want to
Yeah.
rent them. So that's happening a lot around the Lakes region, Portsmouth, up in the ski areas.
Wow.
Actually, Airbnbs are everywhere. They're in
Yeah.
Concord, Nashua. A friend of mine has one in Nashua. I mean, who would have thought you'd
Yeah.
go
You
to an
wanna go to
Airbnb in
Nashua.
Nashua?
I know.
But it's less. I guess it's less expensive for a family to go to a condo or a home as
Yeah.
opposed to going to a hotel.
And then drive up north to the beach or whatever.
Or
yeah.
there's also accessory dwelling units. So I know there's 2 in my neighborhood, and the first one that went in, it's very close to me. They had to, the neighbors had to ask our permission, ask everybody's permission. Do we mind if they add it onto their house? I went, it's your house. I don't care.
Yeah, a lot of those. What we're seeing is people are reaching out and taking care of their parents and
Yes.
Yeah.
extended families. And I'm glad the state, a couple of years back, they changed that whole process. I mean, you folks know probably more detail on that than me, but I remember that was an issue. The accessory units and how they were classified, and it's good that now they make that. Most communities offer that up, because I know some folks that want to add on a bedroom bath, for their family or grandparents to come in.
Or they can
Seeing that in
convert
there?
the basement,
Yes.
or make it a little rental property.
Yeah, that is a trend that we're seeing, that families are like a homestead.
Yes.
A lot of
Like it used to
families
be
are
back
doing
in
that.
the-
Yeah, yeah.
When I was young.
Pool expenses, yeah. And with the aging generation, the baby boomers, we're seeing that a lot of them want to downsize now, go into a 55 plus community. So those houses are starting to come up on the market as well.
So with the 55 plus communities, like if I moved there, would my kids be able to visit? My kids are all grown. I have 6 of them. So when they're all home for the holidays,
Oh yeah.
there's very, very crowded, because I don't have a big house to begin with. So if we downsize, we wouldn't have any room. It's like, I don't know what we would
I think
do.
that pertains to occupancy, right?
Right, right.
If they have the
but-
55, and then what is it, the 62 and a half?
Right, but if there's one person that lives there that's 55, they would
Yes, yeah.
qualify. Yeah, but you'd have to check the bylaws of your association, because a lot of those are associations, and I'm pretty sure they allow visitors, family, to come
Oh,
for
yeah,
a
to
couple
visit,
weeks.
absolutely.
But
Yeah. Do you help people find placement in the 55 plus communities?
yeah, I actually just helped some buyers with a new construction in a 55 plus community. I mean, they're great. You get neighbors and get friendly, and you have
Everybody has something in
clubhouse.
common.
Right? Yeah, it's great for retirees.
I know eventually we're going to have to move my in-laws closer to us, and we're still trying to figure out what the best thing to do with that situation.
Yeah, there's so many popping up everywhere. Those 55 plus communities. Yeah.
Should we do a recap in the last 3 minutes?
Sure.
So, you want to help me out? Go ahead.
Would you like me to recap on appraisals? Or?
Yeah. Well, you
I
said
see.
the
I
first
see
thing.
what's going on. The trend for New Hampshire. I see it. It's pretty solid, and there's still people that are coming here from out of state to get away from something. Just don't bring that here.
I know.
And,
Don't change the state.
And I'm seeing the values. Some people are saying there's going to be a big crash like back in '08 or back in the '80s. I don't see that, because those were all the result of some poor choices in the lending and other things. This here is driven by strong buyers and people that are more educated than they were back then, because the buyers now are more educated because they do a lot of that legwork before they come
Right.
and get together with you, which is good.
Yeah. The New Hampshire housing market is strong, and if you're a seller and you have property to sell in New Hampshire, now's the time to do it. Buyers, don't get discouraged. Just keep trying, keep submitting those offers, and you'll eventually get into your home and find a trusted real estate agent to help you.
So you had given us a lot of tips on how to get top dollar and how to stage and all that. But are there people out there that just put their house on the market and come and look at it and it's just as is and it's a big mess, but do they sell anyway?
Yes.
Wow.
Because there's no inventory.
There's no inventory. Yeah. Do we have a lot of flip houses in New Hampshire?
Yes. Yes. I've done a couple of flips. There's a lot of cash buyers, investors out there in New Hampshire.
So
Yeah.
they buy like rundown houses and
Yes.
make them beautiful and
Yes.
sell them for more. And,
Yes.
and that helps the whole neighborhood, the value go up. So we have 1 minute left, and I had a quick question. So if somebody has a house on, like in a neighborhood, there's a street, and you have one house that's just an eyesore, does that bring down the value of everybody else's home?
Yes.
Can.
Yeah.
The way I view that real quickly is I go in and I look at the whole neighborhood. So I do like the 1,000-foot view of a neighborhood, and I see what's in that neighborhood. It might be affected by this neighbor or that neighbor, but that doesn't really sway me one way or the other. I look at the whole neighborhood because down the road that's going to get
Right.
renovated or fixed up.
All right, well, thank you. This was fun chatting with you about realty in New Hampshire. Did I say that right?
Yes.
It was very nice to meet you,
Nice to meet
Stephen.
you.
And I'll
Nice to meet you.
see you in Concord,
Okay.
Vanessa.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.